The cursed Murmurs of Guanajuato's mummy sin, the quiet town of Guanajuato, Mexico, nestled in the mountains. There's a place that chills the bones of even the bravest travelers, the House of Mummies. The air around it always seems a little colder, the shadows a little darker, and the silence is often broken by eerie whispers that seem to come from the earth itself. What sets this house apart is the legend tied to the naturally mummified bodies it holds. These aren't just relics from the past. They are believed to be cursed souls, unwilling to rest. The story begins in the 19th century when a strange discovery was made during routine burials at the local cemetery. Due to a harsh tax law, families unable to pay the burial fee had their loved ones exhumed. However, instead of decaying, the bodies were found mummified, preserved by the unique minerals in the soil. At first, the discovery was seen as a scientific curiosity, and the bodies were moved to a nearby museum, later known as the House of Mummies. But with the mummies came something darker. The first reported incident was from a guard who worked at the museum. He described hearing soft weeping late at night, echoing through the halls where the mummies were stored. Convinced it was a trick of his mind, he tried to ignore it until one evening, while doing his rounds, he saw movement out of the corner of his eye. One of the mummies, its eyes sunken deep in its skull, seemed to twitch. Its dried fingers, once stiff and still, had shifted ever so slightly toward him. Terrified, the guard fled, and he was found the next morning at the town's edge, babbling about cursed souls. More stories began to circulate. Some claimed to see the mummies standing at night, their stiff forms wandering through the halls as though searching for something or someone. One of the most chilling figures was that of a young child mummy, a baby girl whose face was frozen in an eerie grin. Visitors reported hearing her soft, playful giggles echoing in the distance, only to find her body in a completely different position from where it had been displayed. The museum's most infamous tale centers on a local priest who had been called in to bless the site after the haunting reports grew more frequent. During his visit, he began to feel an overwhelming sense of dread. He described the air growing thick, making it hard to breathe, as though invisible hands were closing around his throat. As he stood near the rows of mummies, he claimed to have felt cold fingers brush his skin. When he turned around, the mummies seemed to be watching him, though they were still encased in their glass boxes. The priest performed the blessing, but as he sprinkled holy water on the bodies, a loud crack echoed through the room. The glass casing around one of the mummies shattered, and for a brief moment, he swore he saw the figure move, its eyes wide open, staring directly into his soul. Panicked, he rushed out, abandoning the blessing halfway through. Locals began avoiding the museum altogether. Rumors spread that the spirits of those mummified had never found peace, bound to their bodies and the land they died on. Some even believed that the curse extended beyond the walls of the House of Mummies, affecting those who dared to speak ill of the dead. Visitors would leave feeling an unnatural weight on their chest, as though something followed them back home. A few reported having the same terrifying dream, a faceless figure at the foot of their bed, whispering in a language they couldn't understand. Even today, those who visit the House of Mummies swear the place has an unnatural energy. The air feels heavy and the shadows cling to you, watching, waiting. And if you stand too close to the mummies, you might just hear them, the low, raspy whispers of the damned forever trapped in their dried, decayed bodies, begging to be freed. But no one dares to answer their calls.
Enjoyed the content? Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us bring more awesome videos your way. Don't forget to click the bell icon to stay updated with all our latest uploads. Thanks for watching.